Coming back to the show all the way from Texas, dude. How you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing awesome, Jerome. Thank you so much for having me back again. I've been really looking forward to this conversation, man.
Dude, pleasure is all on this side of the screen up here in Michigan. We were just hauling out a couple of Pearson Ensigns today. Those are 22 feet, I think. 21 and a half feet. So they're in that sort of pocket cruiser sort of realm. And
Okay.
yeah, so I was kind of thinking about you because I was like, man, I wonder if I could trailer one of these down for the Texas 200 next year.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I just don't know if the actual living accommodations on an Ensign aren't really all that great. So, really tiny because it's got a giant cockpit where you could comfortably sit like 8 adults.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
different style of kind of day sailing boat and
What's
stuff like
the what's
that.
the draft on it with does it have swinging keel?
No, it's got like a cutaway full keel. Probably draws about 3.5 feet, something like that. Maybe four, probably three and a
Okay.
half, I would think. So, but you could, it's built like a tank. So if you rubbed up on the mud, it wouldn't be an issue at all.
Yeah, yeah. You could definitely stay in the safe ICW area rather than trying to go out into the cuts, the secret cuts.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'd have to watch exactly where I was going, but they can
Mhm.
handle a lot too. And if you swamp them, there are ways to deal with that as well. They're kind of more of a lake sailing boat, I think, or at least protected waters and all that stuff. So,
Okay, cool. Right on.
but yeah, so yeah, I mean, you hit me up about the new video that dropped, which I watched, loved it. As I'm a big fan of all the videography and the work you do, the editing. I don't know, it's really really cool. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm there with you on the boat, and with
Oh,
the crowd,
thanks,
but
man.
we had another nice little adventure, man. And it kind of reminds me of adventures don't have to be gigantic, crazy, scary things. They can just be these kind of weekend adventures, and you can still find quite a bit of action, as you did for sure in this last one.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. It was planned to be 4 days, and, we wrapped it up a day early just because the weather was just getting so crazy. There was a hurricane, I can't think of what the name of it was, but I believe it was projected to hit Florida, but then it went out towards, like, Bermuda or something, and so
Yeah, yeah.
we were getting a lot of that, that was coming in.
Well, and that was such a huge system because I mean, for a while it was like a double. It was like two hurricanes that were kind of dancing around each other,
Mhm.
and it looked like South Carolina, Savannah, all those places were going to get absolutely flooded out. But then I think it's Humberto maybe was the one that was further offshore, and I think it kind of sucked it out. And there was
Okay.
maybe a cold front coming down, and it was kind of like a lucky near miss. But this hurricane season's been kind of nice that it's real quiet. I'm hoping it's not going to try and end with a bang because I got to head out to the East Coast and start sailing pretty soon.
Yeah, yeah, fingers crossed, right? But,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, so the, Atchafalaya River. I've been saying it wrong. I've been saying it wrong in the video. Atchafalaya.
Well, yeah, yeah, that because you had that sound bite playing over and over
Uh-huh.
again. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's my buddy, that's his name. He's the, captain of Grobeck, who's featured in the video a whole bunch. Grobeck's actually the boat that we had to perform our rescue, mission, but we'll get to that in a little bit.
We'll get into that. Yeah, we got to build a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
suspense.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, so this was supposed to be a 4-day trip in southern Louisiana by Morgan City, just south of Morgan City, Louisiana. And from Dallas, for me, it was about a 9-hour drive because I got to go a little bit slower on the highways pulling that boat.
Yeah.
I need to upgrade my trailer tires so I can do a little bit more speed on the highway. But it was about 9 hours for me. Um, got there, got to the boat ramp, and spent the night in the back of the boat at the boat ramp parking lot.
Just
And
while it was on the trailer.
yeah, yeah. I
Nice.
was like, all right, I'm tired. I'm just gonna crawl around to the back, hop in, and
It's the beauty
Just
of it. You're
call
bringing
it a
your
night.
home with you, dude. It's
Yeah, yeah,
awesome.
it's like a little travel trailer as well as, you know, a boat, a sailboat.
Yeah.
Another guy was out there, Penny May. So it was nice, comforting to see that there was another boat out there with me. That I wasn't just gonna sleep out there in the middle of nowhere all by
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, we, you know, got up the next day, and everybody started showing up, and launched all the boats in the water, and had a few people stay behind to watch the boats, and then we all took the trucks and trailers about a 40-minute drive to Burns Point, which is where we exit. So
Oh,
we
okay, okay.
so we drive the empty boat trailers and park them up to the area that we're going to exit, because when we start, we're going downriver, the Ashafalaya, out into Ashafalaya Bay, and trying to sail back upriver with the
Oh, up it.
current flowing.
Right.
It just makes way more sense to go to Burns Point.
And is
So we
it
drop.
a full on organized? I guess would you call this one more of a rally than the Texas 200?
Yeah, this one's not an official type deal yet. It was the second one. The first one they did last year, it was Buddy, Tommy, and Mark. So I believe it was only 3 boats that did it last year.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it's
Yeah,
growing. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So if we do it next year, it'll officially be a tradition, I believe. Is it, you do things in 3, right? For it to be a
Yeah,
tradition.
yeah. Once you
Yeah.
get the third year, it's not just it's obviously not a one off, but it's not a oh we did it twice. It's like and then it'll probably just keep growing, I would think.
Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Man, I loved this trip. It was so cool. And this was my first single-handed
Yeah.
solo trip. And man, starting out, and I knew the weather, you know, I was looking for weeks prior going out there, looking at those hurricanes and seeing what was going to happen. And it was 50-50 on what was going to happen. And I was texting the guys prior to going, like, hey, man, like, what do you think about these storms? Like, there was lightning in the forecast, thunder and lightning. I'm
Oh,
like, man, what are
lovely.
you, any concerns about about this weather? And he just replied, "We ain't afraid to get a little rain, Brandon." He's a Louisiana boy. Yeah.
Has he
We ain't
seen
afraid to get a
your
little wet.
video on the has he seen your video on the Texas 200 and the lightning strike?
Oh yeah, yeah. He was there. He was in that Texas 200.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Awesome,
yeah.
awesome.
He's been in all those trips with me. Um, his first Texas 200 was the same year that I did the Texas 200 for the first time, 4 years
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha, gotcha. And I mean, what can you give us just like a little overview of what the course and what the game plan, the passage plan is?
So we start at, oh, what's the name of Jesse Fawn? Oh man, I can't think of the name of the boat place, but it's a memorial boat landing area. It's about 25 miles outside of the Ashafalaya Bay.
Uh-huh.
Um, so we start about 25 miles out there, and then we get into Ashafalaya Bay, and the first camp is going to be at the island of Point of Fur. So it's about a 25 nautical mile sail that first
Mhm.
day. And then we were supposed to go east in an eastern direction, go around what's called Alligator Point, Dead Alligator Point, and end up in the Oyster Bayou, which is kind of like this little bayou canal channel. Um, it was supposed to be a really cool spot that we were going to check out, but we never made it way that far east. That was going to be another about 25 nautical miles sail east to get over to that area, and we were supposed to
Okay.
camp there. And then so we were going to camp there, and then the next day we were supposed to go kind of back. We were going to head back west, kind of back in the Point of Fur Island area. There was another island that we were going to hit up. I can't remember the name of that one. I think it was Marsh Island that we were going to hit up, but that was going to be a lot closer to Burns Point where we pull out. So the last day was supposed to be maybe like a 10-mile sail, something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but the last day ended up being about a 30, I'd say a 30 nautical mile sail, just because we wrapped it up early and we were tucked away in the little bayou that is located in Dead Alligator Point.
And
And
that
so
was
that,
yeah,
mm,
that was when because obviously you're dealing with the weather, and so, like, if like, say you got the 25-mile day, if the wind and everything is going, with you, or, you can just beam reach your way, you're thinking, 3, 4 hours of sailing, but then if
mhm.
you have to tack into it, you could be out there sailing, for 10 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. The first day was really cool though, because it was the 25 nautical miles to the point of Fur Island at the starting point.
Uh-huh.
But we didn't make it to the island that first day because the wind was coming right at us, right down the river.
Yeah,
And
I
so
saw you
we're
guys tacking away on the video.
tacking 100 times. Yeah, in the video, you hear me yelling at a guy saying like, "I didn't know we were gonna be tacking 100 times, but whatever."
Was there any sort of, uh, I don't know, a little bit of anxiety, or, just kinda being like, "All right, well, I'm gonna be on my own this time," because I know you always do the Texas 200 with your brother, and you're
Mhm,
planning on doing it next year solo. At least that was what you're saying when we talked last time, but
mhm.
this is really your first big solo trip.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and, I was really nervous. I wasn't so nervous about sailing by myself because 'cause I've done that plenty of times. I take
Yeah.
it out to the lake all the time. I've got 2 lakes that are 20 minutes from my house. I go out all the time by myself. It was the weather, just the unknown of what the weather's gonna do. Because I did
Right.
see thunder, lightning storms, big gusty winds, um, but also at the same time, the sun was supposed to come out, supposed to be perfect, 10 to 15 knot, breeze.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of like, all right, I'm just gonna go for it. You gotta go for it. Either gonna stay home, do nothing, or go out there and go
Or
live,
go
right?
out and get into it. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. I mean,
Just go
I
out.
do I'm always getting the old butterflies every time I
Mhm,
head out, when I leave, for Maine in the coming weeks or month, I'm sure I'm gonna be filled with trepidation and all that sort of stuff, but then it irons itself out pretty quickly, I always find. As long as, like you said, if you're willing to just get out there and go for it, that stuff kinda does fade away, and it's nice, I'm sure, in your case, when, you've got other people and other vessels that are kind of around, and so it's a bit of a support group, but at the same time, it's also like, you don't wanna screw up because 'cause they'll see you do it.
yeah.
At least that's how I
Yeah.
feel.
Oh, yeah, for sure, yeah, and, yeah, no, knowing that those guys are out there, those guys and gal, are out there, to all I mean, really to help each other and protect each other,
Yeah.
as well as just have just an awesome time, but, yeah, man, those butterflies, when I first got going, I even say in the video, like, butterflies are going 100 miles an hour, and I'm not lying. They were going. I mean, I was having like cramps a little bit, but I kind of do have a little bit of a sensitive stomach from time to time. But I mean, I was nervous. But you're right. As soon as I got a few tacks going, I got the sails up. I was able to kill the motor, and you're just listening to the wind. You're sailing, and I'm tacking, up and down the river. Once I got my sea legs under me, it all went away. I
Yeah.
was loving it. I was having a blast, having a
Well,
great
and
time.
I think that's part of my attraction to doing, like, adventures and kinda taking these trips and doing these things, because it does, I mean, I don't know, when I get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing something that makes me
Mhm.
nervous. This is good. I like this." I feel like
Yeah.
I'm really alive, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, man, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
I mean, just halfway into it, I was just thinking like, "Man, I'm so glad I came out and did this." Because there was a lot of, "I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go out there. It's 9 hours." It's a lot of driving. I'm having to take time off of work, my day job. So yeah, it's a big commitment, and
Yeah, yeah.
then being out there and actually doing it and being in it, it's like, yeah, it all paid off. This is totally worth it.
Well, and it does. I think, yeah, you're hinting into something that I've always found is a big motivator when I'm out on a trip and I've had, and things aren't going all that great, or I'm kind of like, man, I wouldn't mind just bailing on this. The work leading up to getting to the start line or whatever, that helps to motivate me and keep me in the actual adventure because I'm always looking for anything that will do that because when you're dealing with mother nature, sometimes you're getting dealt a pretty crummy hand, and it goes from, oh, this is awesome, to this is the most miserable thing or scary thing, or any, it's a mix of emotions. And yeah, I mean, if you have to put in a good chunk of time, if you just had to drop the boat in or untie it from the dock, yeah, it might be one of those things where you're like, I think I'll wait until another day. But when you actually have to put a decent amount of effort into it, then all of a sudden you've got your chips are on the table, so to speak.
For sure. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good analogy. It's like all chips are on the table at this point. I've invested the money and the supplies, the
I
boat's
don't want to
loaded
fold.
up.
I don't want to
Yeah.
fold.
Yeah. I'm going in, man. I'm going in. This is my hand and I'm playing it.
Well, can
Yeah.
I ask you something? So I think, I don't know, it was like a couple of videos back, or maybe it was just the one previous to this one, and you were doing some pretty heavy modifications to the vessel. And again, it's a O'Day 21,
O'Day 19, O'Day
O'Day
Mariner.
19, Mariner 19. Okay, yeah, my buddy Scuba Steve, who was actually, he just hit me up today. He and I hiked together for like a month and a half on the
That's such an
Appalachian
awesome
Trail.
name.
Oh yeah, dude. The trail names on the AT, they're really good. The one guy who lives in, I believe, Houston, his trail name was Bojangles, and he actually came on Sparrow with me from Beaufort, South Carolina up to Maine, a 9-day trip.
Oh, wow. I bet
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
cool.
And he showed up with 2 cases of Lone Star beer.
Nice.
Yeah. In
Texas
true
beer.
Texas fashion. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he's got one of those. He's got a 19, I think it's a 1969 O'Day Mariner.
Oh, okay.
And
Right
but
on.
sorry, I'm off in the weeds. You were like adding a bowsprit and making it a cutter rig and all sort of stuff. How did that go?
Oh man, it worked out really well. I've only sailed with it once, with having all 3 sails up, and
Yeah.
it was, man, I felt, just it was just tickling my ego, seeing it and sailing out there on the lake, and there were a few other sailboats out there. I could see the guys, just kind of looking, checking it out, but
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of guys on the 200 do that. They do them to like day sailors. Buddy, his boat Grobeck, he's got a huge old bowsprit, big old, like, girthy bowsprit on his. And yeah, I got the idea and inspiration from those guys, and I was like, man, it would be really cool to be able to run a third sail, and just have that. I don't know. I like pirate ships, and I've always just
Yeah,
liked,
the
the
look
big
of it,
pole
right?
out in the front. Yeah, the look of it's cool, and yeah,
Oh yeah.
and it,
Sparrow's got a pretty big bowsprit on her. West
dude,
Sails.
yeah, yeah, you
Oh
got a
yeah.
really cool bowsprit on there, yeah. But yeah, it's just something to do to the boat. I've always just wanted to, tinker around with stuff. I love doing mods like that.
Yeah,
Just
it is
playing
fun.
around with things. Yeah.
Well, and I would think that on a boat that size compared to, up in the 30-40 foot range, those sort of projects can be a little less intensive, because you're not dealing with forces that are so huge, and masts that weigh 400 or 500 pounds, and all the torque load and all that sort of stuff. Because I mean, obviously it's just for light winds, so you were essentially doubling your sail plan when you had that up. It looked like.
Yeah, 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 and it's like just like you said, it's not meant for, to be flying it in 20 knot, winds. It's,
Yeah, like,
yeah, it's
let's
meant for
see what
like,
we can do, baby.
oh man, as wild as that would be.
Yeah, it's usually really fun for a few minutes until something breaks, and then you're just
Yeah. Uh-huh.
calculating the costs and everything. So, okay, well,
Hmm.
cool. I didn't know if something had between those 2 videos, between that time, and something had happened where it was like that mod was no good, so he didn't wanna use it for this trip. So, I
Yeah, I
totally
was.
threw you off the rails. My bad.
Oh no, it's all good. I was also I was doing the lightning strike repairs at the same time, so I was like, hey, while I'm just fixing things and cleaning things up on the boat, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and do. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so it's a good time to do it. You know.
Well, it was a neat way that you had things set up on, and yeah, I definitely know that feeling. When the drill is out and the epoxy is ready to go, it's sort of like, well, let's do that one thing while we're doing this one
Hmm.
because save a little time and all the stuff
Yeah,
is there.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm. Okay, so you get out there, you're getting into day 1, day 2, weather's already starting to get pretty iffy, and 'cause it did. It seemed like it just kept changing. It was like every other clip, it was like, "Well, we got these clouds rolling over. Here we go. I wonder what's gonna happen." So it was already proving to be a bit of a challenging go.
Yeah, day one, it was already kind of doing that. At one point, I put the life. I should be wearing the life jacket all the time, but I threw on the life jacket. I put on the tennis shoes in case I got to head to shore or something real quick because we're
Yeah.
still in the river. But yeah, I got a few times. The weather was getting a little hairy. We got rained on a few times, and it bothers me that I never record the coolest parts because I'm always that's when I'm like all hands on deck. Don't be
Yeah.
messing with the camera. It's you need to
It's
pay
all
attention.
business.
Yeah, safety first. And but yeah, and it was fine. That first day was fine. It was really cool. We found a little canal that kind of veered off the main part of the river where a lot of the barges go through. And so this little canal that we all tied up together, and that little canal is a great spot because you're protected from the swells from all those barges like coming in.
Yeah.
And so that's where we ended up staying at that first night. We're just tied up there on the river in that canal, and man, that
Well,
was
and
that was really
it
cool.
it does, dude. It looks so cool. You got the great shots of that and everything, and I mean, how many it was I think you guys had, what, 5 boats all rafted up on that one, or was it 6? No, 5, I
Probably
think.
6, maybe.
And then
I think
everybody's piling
6.
around, having dinner and
Mm-hmm.
all the day and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that looks like a lot of fun.
It is. Yeah, it's just that's the those are definitely the moments where it's like, oh man, we're just here hanging with the boys, just doing our thing. And there was one lady there, Kay, if you're watching, hello Kay. But yeah, she's a trooper, but she didn't want to hang out with us, so she stayed off a
Right,
little
right,
ways.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She
understandable.
anchored out about 100 yards from us.
I would probably, and that's I don't know, that's one of those things where I was thinking to myself when I was watching, I was like, I wonder if I would wanna, raft up with everybody or, like, raft up for a while and then peel off so that you get that little sorta island privacy where
Hmm.
I don't know, there's just something kinda cool about that. I rarely am anchored on Sparrow, but whenever I do, I'm always kinda like, "Oh, I forgot that I like this. This is so nice. Like I'm my own little country out here. I can kind of do whatever I want. So it's a
Man,
good
I
feeling.
wish the GoPro would capture it. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But at one point in the middle of the night, I just kind of peeked my head out of the hatch and just looked up at the stars.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was a clear sky. The moon was it was like a half moon or something like that. But God, the stars were amazing. Dude, it was so cool. You could see the Milky Way. It was awesome. It was so
Oh,
cool. Because I never
hey,
see the stars like that here, in the city.
No, oh gosh, no. You can see a couple. You can see Venus, probably Jupiter, definitely the moon. But
Yeah.
yeah, you get to a nice dark area where you don't have any big cities around. I mean, even on the East Coast, I got to get pretty far out before I can't see the loom of the lights of the cities and stuff. And
Mhm.
yeah, then once you're out there 50, 100 miles, that's usually when all of a sudden, like, the stars just they amp up 2 or 3 notches, and it's
Oh,
just
okay.
you spend, like, hours and hours just staring at them.
Just
I have these
staring. Yeah.
dude, I have these binoculars, that are self-stabilizing or auto-stabilizing, so you hold down a button and it kinda just, like, stops the shakiness, and I can track if it's calm enough out there. I can just sit there laying on my back, and I have these things on, and I'm just scoping through the stars, dude.
That's
It's
awesome.
awesome.
That's so cool.
I
Yeah,
love
man,
it.
I love I've got a telescope here at home. I'm always like pulling it out, looking at the moon and stuff. I love that. So cool.
I like how you could see the like the actual craters and the shapes and almost like the texture on the moon if you've got a decent
Yeah.
telescope. It's just
Yeah.
like mind blowing. You're like, that's it.
It
Whenever
is, man.
I'm like, man, that doesn't look like it's that far away. Like I feel like I can
Uh-huh.
get there,
Yeah. It
even though I know
is,
I can't.
man.
Yeah.
I've always been into space exploration. When I was a little kid, I watched I rented this documentary VHS tape at this local mall video store when I was growing up called Moonshot. And I learned all about the original Mercury 7 astronauts, the Gemini astronauts, the Apollo, all that stuff. And man, I I wanted to be an astronaut after that when I was a kid. That was like the
Yeah, yeah.
first thing I wanted to be. I was like, I want to be an astronaut. And then as I got older and got into high school, and me and school don't, and I was like, I don't think this astronaut thing is going to work out too
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, you kinda have to be like the best of the best of
Hmm.
basically everything. I couldn't even imagine what the qualifications are
Yeah.
to actually be an astronaut. Oh my gosh.
Maybe
But
that's like the first time I was kind of getting humbled in the long term.
yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
right?
yeah,
Just a
this
little
isn't probably
reality
isn't going to work
check.
out. Yeah.
I think that's in a lot of ways, that's kinda like what life is about is getting those reality checks,
Hmm.
here and there, and sometimes, though, the things you dream about doing, they come true, and then you're able to attain them. But, yeah, other things, it's sort of like, "Nah, you're not gonna be a major league pitcher. It's just not in the
Yeah.
books, my friend. I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
Professional wrestler, that was another one that, didn't work out. Uh, uh-oh, I think I
Every
lost you.
once in a while.
Oh, there you
But if I just yeah, oh, there we go. Technology. We're
go.
using Starlink up at the house these days, and it is pretty dang good. I will say that. But every once in a while, you get a little glitch, so
Oh, okay.
it's all
Cool.
part of it. And I
Right
actually,
on.
dude, I shout out to my buddy Joseph. He lent me his Starlink Mini, so the next trip on Sparrow is going to be futuristic, the most technologically advanced passage I've ever had aboard that vessel. And I'll be
S
able to update the podcast on like daily. If I want to do it every single day, I can do like daily check-ins, which would be kind of cool.
Dude, that's awesome. Starlink Mini, that's what you said?
I think that's what it is. I'm not
Huh.
super familiar with all of it, but I mean, literally the little dish is about the size of a notebook,
Oh,
and
wow.
I've used them on other people's boats, and
Mhm.
a lot of times I've always kind of gone back and forth between being like, get this thing out of here, and boy, that's kind of nice to look at the weather,
Yeah,
whenever I
right.
want that sort of
Right,
thing.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
knows? We'll
even
see.
even even being out in the Point of Fur Island where we were hanging out at for a while. I mean, there's no phone reception. You can't check the weather or anything like that.
Oh, right, right, right.
Hmm.
So you guys are. I mean, because in the video you showed a nice little map and the passage route that you guys were taking. That is kind of way out there. Because I mean, throughout the whole thing, it's
Hmm.
not like I'm seeing buildings and bridges or any of that sort of stuff. I think the only other stuff was some of those shrimping boats, right?
Shrimping boats. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Just shrimping boats. That's all I saw out there. A couple of like, I don't know, I guess they're oil rigs or maybe salt mining rigs. I know there's salt mining that goes on out there.
Oh, okay,
But yeah,
interesting.
other than that, I don't know. Yeah, there's a the guys were talking about this disaster, this lake in Louisiana. So the salt mines are deep underground and they kind of dig down and then they go out. Like they go down and then they kind of go out and they go down and they just
Oh,
mine these
I
huge
think I know what you're talking about.
they mine these huge mounds under the water, and something happened and it flooded, and the whole mine, salt mine, flooded. So the lake, the entire lake, went into the salt mine, and trees, towns,
All the
everything.
barges,
Yeah, huge
everything went in.
barges, everything just went in there, and the lake just disappeared. I wish I
I
could
think
remember the
there's
name of the lake.
I think there's footage of that one if it's the more recent one. I'm sure it's probably happened in the past, but yeah,
Hmm.
they were trying to do one more, or maybe it was like an old salt mine and they were trying to drill a hole for something else, but they basically punctured it. And all of
Hmm.
a sudden it was just like, and then, but it turns into this, huge maelstrom of a whirlpool essentially. It just sucked everything down.
Hmm.
It's just,
Hmm.
it
Yeah, my
happens.
buddy my buddy was saying, he was like, "Yeah, my old buddy, when it happened, he said I tied my bow up to the tree, and then I come back, and then the tree and the boat is just gone."
Oh, he was on that lake?
Yeah, he was on that lake.
Jeez.
Yeah, the tree, the boat, all gone. Yeah.
All of it. Golly. And,
Crazy, man.
all that stuff ends up down, 500 feet under the surface in these
Mhm,
mine shafts. It's just, it's absolutely crazy that stuff happens.
mhm.
You can imagine.
Wild, and I didn't even imagine that we were doing things like that. You're like, wow, we're drilling that deep into the ground. We're, doing
Oh, yeah.
this type of work this deep into the ground. Like, man, those guys that do that line of work, those
Oh,
it's
dude, it's
it's
crazy.
crazy, man.
Crazy.
Yeah.
When I know I can't remember what they were called. It was like mud hogs or something like that. But essentially, when they were doing a lot of the tunnels around New York City that would go under the Hudson, all that sort of stuff, like every once in a while, because it's kind of this clay, I don't know, sediment that they were digging through, and every once in a while, like they'd like put pressure on it or something. And this is like 100 years ago, but every once in a while, somebody'd be like digging on the side, and it would open up just the tiniest fissure, and people would get like sucked into that and then pushed out, and then they'd pop up on the Hudson, and some of them survived that.
Wow.
Could you even imagine?
Dude, that's so crazy, man.
I know.
Gosh.
What humans are
Wow.
capable of doing, I think. I always feel in awe of seeing a city skyline from a distance, like especially out on the water, like Chicago or New York. But then also even, when I'm passing like Gary, Indiana, and I'm looking at Gary Works, which I think at one time was like the largest steel foundry in the world.
Hmm.
And just the colossal scope and scale of those things, it just boggles my mind, and I can't even fathom how people do that. But it's a pretty amazing feat that humans can be that productive and that have that much ingenuity to build these things that are just so massive in scale.
Yeah, yeah, it's wild. It's cool. I love just learning new stuff like that. I don't know, like I call it
Yeah.
stuff, but just just learning new things, man.
It's an
It's
interesting
awesome.
world we have out here. Well,
Yeah,
and
right.
I keep going off into the weeds and everything, but and I'm watching this little clock tick down, and I do want to get to the meat and potatoes. How I guess. Well, there was one day though where you guys pulled up to a place, but then you ended up having to take off, right?
Yeah, so that was the island. That was Ponifar Island, that island's about 30 nautical miles from where we started. And so we camped the first night. We didn't actually go out. And Pointifer Island is in Atchafalaya. I struggle saying it now. I have to stop and
It's
think
because you
when I
think
say
about
it.
it.
I have to stop and think about it. Atchafalaya Bay. It's in Atchafalaya Bay, and so we went. We camped in the canal, and then the next day we went out to the Pointifer Island, and it took us maybe like 2 hours. It was like a 2 hour sail. We
Yeah.
got going around like, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. By 10 o'clock in the morning, 10:30, we were there. We were all there at the island, and that was going to be the camp for the day. So I was thinking, man, this will be interesting. Like, this is just going to be like a day of just hanging out. It's not, there's not a whole lot of sailing going on or anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just kind of hang out. Later in the night, we'll probably get like a campfire going or something. At least if the weather lets up, because like you were saying, you could see that the weather's just, it's constantly changing. You got
Yeah.
storms
Yeah.
rolling in, and at one point we had a huge like rainstorm like come through. It was blowing all this wind. Um, the boat, Thunder Road. I had Thunder Road anchored up at. We were on the opposite of the windward. The the lead. What do you call the
The lee
opposite?
side of the
Lee
island.
side. There you go.
Yeah.
The lee side of the island, and even that, the wind picked up and started blowing my boat and off the island. My anchor was like pulling up, so I had to go run out there and dig a huge hole to kind of throw my anchor into and kind of
Yeah.
bury the anchor. So
Because
that
you're
held.
able to. That's kind of, I think, one of the cool things about all these smaller vessels is that you're able to just sail them pretty much straight onto a beach, and you get
Yeah,
that bow up, basically touching the sand, and then like you're saying, you just walk your anchor out and throw it in a hole, and you're pretty much good to go.
yeah, that. And then I had one in the stern that I just walked out into the water, and that those bays are shallow. I mean, they're mostly, 5, 6 feet deep, something like
Yeah.
that. And they're real shallow. But and those center boards, I've got a retracting center board, so it just pulls right up. I've got a drum winch that I installed on there. And I do want to say about that drum winch, single handing, having a drum winch where I just reach down, pull a line to get that board up real quick, way better system than having like a crank winch that I was using. I was using like a boat trailer, like crank winch.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so anytime you're sailing along, sometimes you'll feel the bottom
Oh,
of
you'll
the
feel it
center board. Yeah,
bumping.
you'll feel it bumping, and so you just want to kind of take out the tension, or put the tension back in the line and maybe pull it up a little bit slightly.
Right.
Um, but when you're doing that and you've got to like crank something, I don't know, you can't like feel it, but when you have the line, you can feel it better. But
Yeah. And it's
but yeah,
probably a little bit quick. It's all about being able to do that, at a moment's notice as well.
right,
Just be like,
yeah, I
whoop,
just
grab it, go. All right, we're good.
mhm. Yeah, I just pop it into a little cleat, so I just pop it right out, and I can kind of like get into a stance like you would pull up an anchor, like you would stand at the bow and like pull up your anchor real quick. So I
Yeah.
can just grab that line and just pull it up real quick, if I have to. So it's nice having that. But I digress about the drum winch, the centerboard drum winch.
No, hey man, it's all information. I'm really loving it. I really do think that in I don't know exactly when I could do it, but the idea of coming down for the Texas 200 definitely is in my brain. So
Dude, that
uh
would be awesome,
I
man.
think that would be so much fun. I'd have to find a boat, but I bet you I could probably find one somewhere and be
You
able
know,
to.
I think I know of a boat that was planning on single handing if you wanted to come aboard and maybe, crew on Thunder Road.
Maybe. I'm
Maybe.
pretty good. I'm good as a first mate or a crew member. Believe it or not, like
Right on.
you can ask Matt Rutherford, man. I clean the heads. I do it all.
No, man, I bet you could show me. So I bet I could learn so much from you. Uh, doing a trip or something with you. But
Yeah, maybe. Hey, maybe one day we get you out on Sparrow, get you on the
That
Big
would be
Blue.
awesome. That
That'd be
would be
pretty fun.
cool. I would love to
I
go aboard the Mighty Sparrow. That'd be
Oh
cool.
yeah, dude. Do a rip out to Bermuda or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah.
Oh, and that does remind. I don't know why that reminds me, but before we keep going in this, so that day when you're hanging out on the beach, quick question: you're in Louisiana, aren't there alligators and stuff down there?
There are. Yeah, yeah, there are. Not so much out in the bay, and I wouldn't think with the chop that we were getting, it was getting choppy out there, man, because it was really windy.
Yeah,
Um, not so much out in the bay, but whenever we were tied up out in the canal
yeah,
in the
because you
river,
spotted one right on the video.
I don't know why I didn't think to show it on camera, but man, I had a flashlight, and at night, you shine that flashlight
Oh, the eyes.
along the shore. Oh, dude, the eyes, they're like half a dozen of them just right there. It was
And
cool.
some of them are pretty big, right?
Yeah, oh yeah. I don't know how big they get out there, but I know some of them do, get
See that? Yeah, that makes me a little
yeah.
nervous. When that guy was at the end of the video, when he was trying to mess with his center board, um, even
Oh,
though
with
he
the
was
boat
right
ramp.
there at the boat ramp, I'm just
Mhm.
thinking to myself, like, dude, gators are around. Like, you
Yeah.
get snatched up real quick, dude. They are like they will eat humans. Like, that's not a myth.
Yeah, no, that guy, that's Buddy. He's from Louisiana. He's
Oh, okay, okay.
I believe he was born and raised Louisiana. He's got a brother that's a shrimper. To
Yeah.
this day, he's out there shrimping. He's a character, man. He's awesome. But the Atchafalaya, the Achap Achafalaya, the Atchafalaya, gosh, the
The
Atchafalaya,
Atchafalaya.
the Atchafalaya one, which is on this guy Ziggy's channel. Um, they're out there. They didn't have any wind whenever they were out there going through the river, and
Mhm.
so they kind of camped out at the same spot, but didn't really know like how deep it was. So Buddy at one point just hops out of the boat
Mhm.
and starts, just pulling the boat along with the bow line to try to get an idea of like how deep the water is and everything. And he's telling Ziggy's filming with his GoPro. He's in the boat and he's telling Ziggy, "Oh, there's an alligator over there. Oh, look, film that. There's an
Oh,
alligator
man.
up there." And it's like this guy
No
is
way, dude.
crazy, just walking in there waist deep, like, "Oh, look at an alligator. Oh, alligator over there."
Oh,
Dude, you're
bro.
nuts, man.
Yeah, no. Those things, I mean, I'm not a big fan of swimming off a sparrow in the ocean, but the
Oh,
odds of like a
that would scare
shark
me.
coming along
Yeah.
are slim to none. But I feel like alligators pose definitely a bigger threat. But I could be way wrong. It's just something that's really foreign to me, I suppose. So yeah,
I
whatever.
guess they don't. I guess the sense that I got, because there were a couple of Louisiana guys out there. The sense that I got was that we're making enough noise and
Yeah,
enough
they don't want
racket
anything to
that
do with
they
you.
don't want to have anything to do with us. Yeah, they're not going to come mess with us.
Well, as long as there aren't too many crab traps with freaking turkey necks and
Yeah. I
that
was
in the
about to
water.
say, and then here we are throwing out turkey neck in the water to try to catch some
Which was
blue
really
crab.
cool. That did you guys end up catching any crab?
No, we didn't.
No.
No, yeah, we didn't. Unfortunately. But yeah, that was really cool. I'd never done that before. And I
Yeah,
was
it's kind
just,
of a neat, like,
yeah.
when you're because that I think that lends to the whole mix with a trip like that of sailing and then also kind of like camping style. Um, I don't know, not building of a shelter, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, you're not just like sailing still, you're actually hunkering down and then it's kind of relaxed time. And yeah, the idea of like, dude, we'll throw a couple traps in. I know people do that up in like Pacific Northwest. You're going for like Dungeness crab and all that sort of stuff. And you can just throw them right off the boat. It's super cool. Can't exactly do that up in Maine with lobsters. You need all these licenses and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it was awesome. Like whenever Dwayne, that was Dwayne that brought the crab traps. He was loading those things up and throwing them out, and I was just like, "Oh, this is just so cool." One of
Yeah.
those things that's just like unexpected that I wasn't planning on seeing. Like oh man, this is so cool. Like a Louisiana, a
Yeah, it's like
local Louisiana. I don't know if that's how you'd say it.
Louisiana and yeah, that doesn't
Yeah.
sound right, but
Yeah.
we can go with it. I'll go with that.
But
Somebody will correct us.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, just being out there, being in it, doing it,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
And then things take a terrible turn.
Yes. Yeah. So we're hanging out at that island, Pointe-à-Fort Island. And it's interesting because we're on the lee side of the island, so we're kind of protected from the chop. There's white caps all out in the bay. The wind is really picking up. We're getting rained on here and there. Um, but we're also there's I guess just the natural current is also bringing in swells.
Mhm.
So the boats are kind of getting beat up a little bit, even though we're on the lee side of the island.
Yeah.
So we kind of hung out there for a few hours, and at one point, somebody just threw out the idea of, why don't we go to Alligator Point, and we can go into Little Bayou, which is just a little canal, a little bayou, um, that's going to protect us better. It's going to protect us from the swells coming in. It's going to protect us from the white caps that are coming in from the wind. It's just going to be a better spot to be, and it's going to be easier to sleep in the boats that way as well, because the boats are all rocking in the water. And
Yeah, it looked like it on the video. I was like, "Oh man, yeah, that's where you're kind of like, I got to get out of this little spot." But sometimes,
mhm,
depending on what the situation is, like sometimes the waves can get to a point where all of a sudden you can't get the boat off the beach anymore. You're getting like
right.
bashed around on it. So as soon as you guys were like, "All right, we're going, we're gonna go find this other little spot tucked up," I was like, "All
Mhm.
right, cool," because I had me a little worried. I was like, "Uh oh, this is
Yeah, I
where it
mean, and whenever
happens."
we were anchored to, like, boats were starting to get close to, like, bumping into each other, and you don't want that, like,
Yeah,
you
especially when
know
you're trying to sleep. That's a recipe
yeah,
for
yeah,
a
we're
long
constantly
night.
having to get out. Yeah, we're having to get out and, like, reposition the anchors, reset anchors, and it was starting to become just kind of a pain to be out there dealing with
Yeah.
it all. And Dead Alligator Point and Little Bayou was a 30-minute, motor trip from there. If you're going to motor for 5 knots, 5 knots,
Mhm.
you'll get there in 30 minutes. So it's just a real short, little hot little trip. And so we talked about it for maybe like a half hour or so, and everybody collectively agreed, yeah, let's pack up, and we're just all gonna motor. I don't think anybody planned on sailing. I think everybody was just like, yeah, we'll just motor to this spot. It's gonna be about 30 minutes, and then we'll all be in this better protected area.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we pack up. Um I was drinking a cold, a cold beverage,
I believe
thinking
it
like,
was a
oh,
Coors Light,
yeah,
if
Coors
I
Light. Yeah.
if I saw that correctly underneath the koozie.
It was. Yeah, I was drinking a Coors Light, and because, I'm thinking, oh, we're done being on the water today. Like, I'm gonna hang out, have just start having a good time. And then it's like, all right. Yeah.
As a sailor, as the captain of a vessel, you can never get too comfortable, sir.
Right. Yeah. And I learned that the hard way, I guess. But yeah, so I'm getting the boat ready, pulling up anchors, and I'm kind of just making sure, like, all right, the sails are okay. I'm not gonna raise the sails. I'm just motoring here.
Yeah.
Um, there's not gonna
Dead to
I'm not
wind, right? You're going straight
hmm
into it
Yeah,
pretty
we're just
much?
going
Yeah.
straight into the wind. Yeah, so it'll probably be a little bit of a bumpy ride, but nothing that we've never been in before.
Yeah.
So I was totally comfortable doing it. I was like, yeah, this is totally fine. So we get out there. Everybody's heading out. We're heading in the eastern direction, and to Dead Alligator Point, and we're gonna go into. The plan is to go into Little Bayou for the safety. Well, and I pull out my camera and I do a little update, and I say, "Oh, this is what we're doing." And there's blue skies, the sun's kind of out, but
Mhm.
off in the distance, there's some black clouds. But it really, I wasn't worried about anything. I was like, we're gonna be fine. Like, it's 30 minutes. I'm gonna be perfectly fine. Well, about 15 minutes after that, and I put the camera down, man, that those storms they were moving way faster than what they looked. I mean, it was like 15 minutes that storm blew over, and it blew. I mean, it was bringing in huge gusts of wind, like 35. I would say like 35 knots, 40 knots, like gust.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot. The rain, it just started pouring down. It was coming down hard. Um, I had just put, yeah, I buttoned up my cabin cover. I have like a cabin cover that I can like button it up
Yeah.
and cover up my cabin. So I had done that. Um, the GoPro I just threw in to the cabin, so I didn't have anything to film any of that stuff. But man, it got it got so gnarly out there. Like I've never been in seas like this before. These seas were so confused because you've got the chop coming in from the wind, the white caps coming in from the wind, and then you've got the natural current flowing. So those two are like those seas are conflicting with each other.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what I'm getting is like, I'm not getting these big waves. I'm getting like these 6 foot like waves that are coming together and like peaking. You know how like the
Yeah. I
waves, they
call
like,
them triangle waves because
yeah,
they
yeah, I was
kind of
getting those
form these
triangle
pyramids.
waves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd never been in anything like that. And these things were like 6 feet, like not exaggerating. And several times I was taking those things over the bow. Those things were coming, water was coming over the bow, splashing, over the deck into the cockpit. And
Jeez.
I was taking on a lot of water in that, in an O'Day Mariner, a 19-foot boat in
Yeah.
6 foot seas. That's a lot for that little boat. And dude, it was crazy. Like I would every now and then, I would take a huge wave and the bow would just go way up high in the air. And then her belly would just smack right down on the water. And man, when she smacked, you could just feel the whole hull of the boat like just like reverberate. You could
Oh,
just
I'm
like
sure,
feel it
dude.
vibrate through the whole boat.
I'm sure the
Just
mast was like flexing, like,
oh yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, my
no,
backstay
does
was all loose after that ordeal. It was all loosened up.
I bet it was. Does
Yeah.
inside the footwell or in the cockpit, does it have like scuppers? Is it self-bailing or is it like
No, no.
every wave once the water level kind of starts creeping up, you've got to deal with that as well, right?
Yeah, yeah, if it gets too crazy, it starts filling up too much. I have just a little bilge pump, like a
Uh-huh.
manual bilge pump that I have on board that I could use. But and I have a bell bucket also if it gets like real crazy. I keep a bell bucket on board. But no, I don't have self bailing. I've got just a little rubber plug for whenever you get the boat out of the
Out
water
of
on
the
the
water,
trailer.
right,
Yeah, you
right.
pull that plug. Yeah, that's all I've got.
Dude, that might be the next project is an
Yeah.
electric,
Mm-hmm.
like an emergency bilge pump because you can get these ones that are like 1,250 gallons per hour. And, if you don't have to use it for a long time, it's not going to drain your battery. But, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
nice to be able to flip it on because you still have to be at the tiller the whole time, too, right?
Mm-hmm.
In
Yeah.
that situation.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. This guy Tommy was telling me that what I could do is get a manual one that installs into the bulkhead at the
Hmm.
front, the bulkhead that separates the cockpit from the cabin. And
Yeah.
it's just like you stick a handle into it and then you
Those are the
just like
old
pump it.
diaphragm ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
And those
Yeah.
those move mountains of water. Like
That's what he said. That's what he
they're
said.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Sparrow
had
has
one.
one of those. Like
Oh, okay.
most every yacht has that fitting, and it really is like the amount when you get it fully primed up, it's amazing how much water is getting pushed through with those things. It's crazy.
Yeah, he had mentioned it was like something like, "Oh yeah, after like 2 pumps, it's like 5 gallons." I was like, "Whoa."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
dude,
It
that's a
is.
lot.
Yep.
It was a very significant amount. Yeah.
But the other thing though that you had, I mean, because there's an old saying is the best way to get water out of a boat is to give a scared man a bucket. and
There you go.
because you can
Yeah.
you can be amazed how many bucket loads you can get out real fast.
Real fast. Yeah. Yeah. It's like my pee bucket and my bell bucket.
Double function,
Yeah.
multi-purpose.
Yeah.
Ah,
So
there
it's
you
just
go.
right there ready to go.
All right, so you're ripping through, your hands on tiller, you're trying to, water maintenance, mitigate the boat from going down. The seas
Yeah.
are all over the place. It's driving rain,
Yeah.
and you're just kind
Confused
of in
seas.
it, dude.
Very confused seas.
And I mean, your progress must have just halted almost, I would think.
It did. It did. Yeah. I mean, I was cruising along at like 6 knots, and when that hit, it was like 2.5, 3 knots. I could see on my GPS how
Yeah.
fast I was going. Um, and I didn't have the motor, revved up all the way because I don't like to stress. I don't want to stress that old motor out. But
Right.
that old 1984 Honda is a great. I mean, it's a great Honda, um, a 10 horsepower.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I wasn't trying to stress that out too much, and just making my way to the little bayou. And occasionally, I'm turning around, and I can see the other boats, like a few other boats behind me, and I can see Grobeck and the other boat, Sparky, which is a 1974 Mariner. Um, but I see them, and they turn around at one point, and then they're pointing, the opposite direction at another point, and then I see them pointing back the direction that they need to go, and then I kind of look back again at one point, and they turned around again. So I'm kind of like looking back at them, wondering, like, I wonder what are they doing? Are they thinking about going back to
Right, right.
point of fur? And maybe they're like, oh, to hell with
Yeah, too
this, like,
much.
let's
Yeah.
go back. Yeah, too much, let's go back. So I was in front of everybody because I wasn't I'm by myself. I'm packed light. I've got a 10 horsepower. I've got the biggest motor out there in the fleet. So I'm well ahead of everybody. And I don't want to get there and just be there by myself and knowing that everybody had turned around and gone back.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So I'm thinking, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead and I check my gas, my gas level, my fuel level.
Mhm.
I got plenty of gas, got a full tank. So I'm like, oh, I can be out here for hours motoring around if I have to. So I'm gonna turn around and go see and get closer to them and see what's going on. And then it occurred to me, I don't have my radio turned on. So we left. We
Oh.
left, and I'm not even thinking to turn my radio on. So
Lesson learned.
yeah, yeah, lesson learned. So they're doing whatever out there, and I'm thinking, what's going, like, what are they doing? Are they turning around? And I don't have my radio on.
Yeah, yeah, right. They're probably in there calling you like,
Uh-huh.
Brandon, come in.
Yeah. Yeah, Thunder Road. Do you hear us? Yeah, I don't have my radio on. So I turn around to head out there. And turning around in that chop, man, that was
Gets
scary in its
a
own.
little
Just
dicey, yeah.
just turning around is dangerous. It's like, all right, I gotta time this right. Let me look at when these waves are coming in,
Well,
and
and yeah,
time
that's
it.
the most vulnerable position when you're
Yeah.
when you're a
Hmm.
beam to the seas.
Yeah.
And that's, if you catch the wrong wave at the right time, those are, they can easily a breaking wave. I think a breaking wave only has to be it's like 30%. Like if you've got a 10-foot boat, a breaking 3-foot wave, I think, can capsize a 10-foot boat. I could be wrong. It might be 50% of the length. I can't remember, but there's an equation for it. And
Huh.
yeah, like so that's, yeah, it's definitely dicey. You got to just do that maneuver and just commit and
Hmm.
don't hesitate and just get around.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was definitely. I'd never been in seas like that. That out of nowhere, I'm thinking this is just a 30-minute quick little hop.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
all of a sudden, I'm like, damn, this is like the biggest like seas I've ever been in. Like, this is crazy. Um, I'm my adrenaline is like up, it's going. Um, and, we're getting rained on too, so it's intense. The wind is howling. It's crazy.
A
This
real adventure.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
All right, so you beat it back, and you make the turn, and now you're headed back to him.
Yeah,
Do
I'm
you have
headed
your
back to
radio on
him.
at this point?
I get my radio on. Yeah, I realize like, oh man, I don't even have my radio on. So I go in, I get my radio on, and maybe I don't call for them. I'm just headed their direction, and probably like 5 minutes or so, maybe not even 5 minutes after I turn that radio on, um, I can kind of hear Buddy. It's real staticky. It's kind of hard to hear because I just have a little handheld with me.
Mhm.
Um, it's like a 3 watt, like little handheld radio, but I can kind of hear him saying something like about his motor. He's having motor troubles,
Yeah.
and I don't know what happened. I need to talk to them about what happened, but Sparky, the other boat that was kind of with them, they started going off the opposite direction and leaving Grobeck. I later found out I later found out they didn't have their radio on either.
Oh my gosh, we need
Oh
to,
dude,
yeah.
disaster. Disaster waiting to happen.
Right, right, right.
Yeah. So they didn't have their radio on, so they don't know what's going on. They're starting to go off in the other direction. I don't know why or what's going on. But I'm hearing something about like motors not running, like motors not working. And at this point, I'm probably about 100 yards from Grobeck. And they are, let's see, I'm pointing down, I'm going downwind, and I'm pointing to their starboard side.
Mhm.
So they're sideways to the
Oh,
to
their
the
beam
wind.
of all of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because when
beam.
you go dead in the water, that's how a boat likes to naturally,
Hmm.
that's where it finds its little spot. And essentially, if you lash the tiller off, that was kind of the old-timey way of weathering a gale at sea, and they call it laying a hull, where you
Okay.
basically take all sail down and you just let the boat just kind of get pushed straight downwind, but it does lie beam to the sea, so it is a vulnerable position for
Is that
sure. And
like a heave two kind of? Or
kind of,
okay.
but even less. I don't think it's a very wise way to go about it, and I'm sure plenty of people would disagree with me, but um, it just doesn't. It's not very proactive. You're supposed to basically just go down below and kind of lock yourself into your bunk, but
Hmm.
because these boats are super strong, they can take a huge beating, way more than we actually think they can.
Hmm.
And if they're just allowed, like, these waves hit them and it just keeps pushing them, and they're not going up against the waves, if you will. They're kind of just being allowed to move sideways with them. A boat can handle pretty serious action in that sort of, as long as it doesn't get rolled by a big breaking wave.
Right, right. Yeah, so they're like taking it on at a beam, and they're very dangerous. They're probably like 50 yards from running aground and getting pushed ashore right at the point of Dead Alligator Point. So they
Oh,
made it.
geez.
They made it like all the way to the point of the island that we were going in.
Uh-huh.
That little bayou is in, but they had just got to that point, and then their motor failed.
Oh no.
And so they're getting pushed. They're running. They're so close. He did run aground. His centerboard was still down. He didn't think to pull the centerboard up, but his centerboard ended up getting all bent up, and he was having all
Hmm.
kinds of problems getting it back into the housing and everything. Um, but yeah, so they're getting pushed ashore, and I'm heading in that direction, and I just see Buddy stand up on my adrenaline was already going. I see Buddy stand up on the bow of his boat, given the universal maritime
Yeah.
signal for distress.
Distress. Yeah.
Dude, when I saw him doing that, I was like, holy smokes. Like, I'm I can't believe I'm seeing this. I can't believe I'm seeing Buddy doing this, because Buddy's kind of uh he's kind of the guy that can just do it all. You know, he's never going to be in trouble. But Buddy's not the guy that's going to be in trouble. Buddy's going to be the guy that saves you.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right, right.
that's the kind of guy Buddy is.
How the
And
tables have turned in this
yeah, right.
story.
And seeing him waving his arm, I was like, oh shoot, man! Like I'm the only one. Like Sparky took off. I'm the only one, and he's trying to get Sparky because I
Yeah.
think he sees I'm headed his direction. So he's
Right,
trying to
right.
get Sparky's attention, but they're gone. They took off. I don't know what happened, but and I was just I was like, oh my God, okay, I've never done this before, so I'm gonna have to like throw them a line and like tow them. Like I'm gonna have to grab them I'm gonna have to get there before they start running aground and because they get pushed up to shore, and then that chop, that
Oh, it's
wind
gonna be a
just hitting the
nightmare.
boat,
Yeah.
it's gonna just it's gonna destroy the boat, over time. We'll never get it off that beach if they get stuck up there. Um, so I'm maybe, at this point, like I see him waving his arms. I'm, like 50 yards from him. And I thankfully I have a 50-foot line with a loop at the end right there, ready to go. That's already like tied up, like ready to go. So I loop it around the stern cleat that I've got, my port side or a starboard side stern cleat. And
Nice.
then come up to him. I get about like 20 feet away from him, and I come up, pointing up into their bow. And then so they're on my, let's see, I'm on their port side, and they're on my starboard side, and I'm passing
Yep.
by them. So I grab that line and I just chunk it out to him. And Buddy, he was standing right there at the bow of the boat, and he had a line ready to go to throw me. But I
Uh-huh.
was thinking, I don't have enough hands to steer the boat, to get back out and be able to tie them off. Like I just need to just throw him the line, and he needs to deal with that.
Yeah.
As soon as I held up that line, he dropped his and like just had like football hands like right there ready to go. I threw
Nice.
that line to him, dude. It, the wind helped push it. It was like the perfect throw. It like the line, it came on him, it fell on him, he caught it. And as soon as I saw him catch it, I turned upwind and just start hauling ass. And as soon as I haul ass, Buddy catches that line, and I just heard him go, haul ass, haul ass. He just says haul ass. So I gun it, man. I gun that Honda full throttle, man, going head into the wind, into that chop. And man, we're not going anywhere. Like we're not moving.
Really? Oh,
Because
geez.
dude, Grobeck is probably weighs 3 times, maybe 4 times as much as my Mariner.
Yeah. What type of boat is that?
I think it's a West Ford Sweet Pea. I think that's what it is. He built that boat, so he bought the plans from a guy that designed the boat, and he built the boat based off those plans, but he beefed everything up. So where it called for 1/4 inch plywood, he would do 3/4,
Right,
or
right,
where it
right.
was 3/4 plywood, he would sandwich together 2 1/2 inches, and use that. So he built it all out of wood, and then he went back and completely covered the whole thing in fiberglass. Like he fiberglassed the whole thing inside and out.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
yeah, it's a stout boat. I mean, it is a tough boat, but it's super heavy. It's really heavy. So Thunder Road, trying to pull that boat, trying to tow that boat, even though I've got a 10 horsepower and Thunder Road's not that heavy of a boat,
Yeah.
man, it was a struggle. Like we were not going anywhere, for a good while. But then the storm started to let up a little bit, and then I could tell, okay, I think we're starting to move a little bit. We're starting to, starting to make some way. And then at some point they got their motor running again, so they
Come
were
on.
they were able to
Reconnect.
help out.
There we go.
There we go. Oh, so at one point
Yep.
we
We're
were
back.
able. Okay, yeah. So yeah, at one point we were their motors started running again, and they were able to kind of help push us
Oh,
the
okay.
rest of the
Nice,
way.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, dude, at one point, I mean, when I gunned that, when I, hit the gas on that Honda and just started going, I was kind of, I was having to steer the tiller, the Honda, the tiller handle on the Honda and the boat tiller. I was having to steer both of them because just controlling the tiller on the boat, like the rudder on the boat, wasn't enough to keep us pointed in the direction that I needed to be.
Oh,
So I'm,
yeah, I mean, if you're not moving through the water very
hmm
fast, you really do your boat's rudder is gonna lose that steerage. It kinda
hmm
needs a little bit of that speed, but if you've got the tiller on the Honda, you can kinda, you can shift it off and it'll push that stern one way or the other to kinda keep that
hmm
direction, but yeah, it gotta be a bit kinda crazy little situation, but, once you build up a little momentum and everything, I mean, that's one of the things too, these big, old, heavier boats and such, you put it in gear, you take it up to 1,000 RPMs or something like that, and it takes a little bit. It's like a freight train, you got to get that
hmm
speed up, and then once you get the speed going, but it sounds like yeah, with that second engine, once they got that going, then it must have been pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, that helped out a lot. The fact that the storm was starting to let up and the winds were starting to let up helped out a lot. Um, I mean, it was crazy, man. Like before Buddy, he didn't even. I was, gunning at full throttle in that chop, and a couple times I would turn around just to see how it's going back there. And Buddy's not even tied off yet. That dude is like pulling the
Oh,
line. He's like pulling it in. And I'm like, dude, he's not even tied off yet. Like, what the
oh,
heck, man?
jeez, that's too
Oh
funny.
man. And Buddy's a big, he's a big boy. He's a
Yeah.
big thick boy. So I had confidence. I was like, well, it looks like he's got it. So but man,
So how
it
long did it
was
take to finally reach the little bayou?
probably like 30 minutes, I'd say.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we were already by the
Pretty
time.
close, yeah, it
Yeah,
sounded
we
like
were
it.
yeah, if we didn't, have those storms or anything, we were probably only about, 20 minutes or about 10 minutes away.
Mhm.
But with the storms and all of that, it took a good like extra 30 minutes to get there.
Nice, nice.
But yeah, dude, it was crazy. I never had to pull off a rescue like that and like throw out a line and have him catch it. And all I was thinking was like, man, if he doesn't catch this, like I'm gonna have to turn around and try to, you know, do this again. And at that point, it may be too late. I don't know. This is,
Well, and, I mean, a lot of things can go really wrong in those sort of
yeah.
situations, but it also is really, I think, a great example of why some of those old-time seamanship skills, like line handling and things like that, really come into play because, yeah, I mean, when you need to be able to throw a line and you need to be able to throw that line over a 20-foot distance, you don't want to have to take like three different tries to get it to the person. And
hmm
so kind of that old skill set, I think is still very valid. And then I don't know, just obviously there's always going to be a bit of luck, but at the same time, like if you've got a whole bunch of other lines dangling over your boat, and then all of a sudden you're in that situation, and then one of these lines gets propped, and now your engine doesn't work either. You see how it kind of snowballs, and then like the two boats are really close, and now they're smacking into each other, and then it's yeah, you can see how
Dude,
it
it's
can get out of hand pretty quick, right?
so much to think about. I mean, everything you're saying, I'm like, yeah, dude, that's in my head. Like, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
okay, if
right.
I throw this line, yeah, I don't want to get tangled up in the prop because if my motor fails, we're both screwed. Like
Yeah.
last thing I want to have, I want to help them, I want to save them, but I need to do this like safely. I need to be able to protect myself and my boat at the same time because if something happens to me, like we're all screwed. I can't help them at that point. So Oh man, I lost you again.
Oh, no, you
Oh,
got me
there we
back
go.
right
There we
there.
go.
Awesome. Well, it can be hard, also the fact that when your adrenaline is already kind of pumping, sometimes one of the tricky things is to be able to kind of throttle that back a little because it's really easy to jump into action when, like you said, having a couple of seconds to think about something really comes in handy because you might, your instinct might be like, oh, it's like when somebody falls overboard, most people think, well, let me jump in after him. Well, if you do that, now
Mm.
you have two people overboard rather than just one, and so it's kind of sometimes you definitely have to like be like, whoa, 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 okay, let's just go through it. What are we gonna do? And sometimes it's only a couple of seconds of time, and then all of a sudden you've got a game plan instead of just wildly going after and just going for it. But it's a fun situation, like saving the day and being in that position where somebody needs help and you are the person who is right there and ready to offer that assistance. Like when I throughout all the years and decades really of working in water sports centers, I mean, we had tons of rescue boats and did rescues of everything from small boats capsized to like 40 something foot boats that were going up on reefs and things like that. And man, I always loved rescuing people. It was such a blast. And the more you do it, the better you get at certain techniques and you know what works and what doesn't and all that sort of stuff. But it's a neat feeling. It's a unique position for, I think, a human being to be in where there's somebody who needs them and then you are right there and you go for it. But it's tricky. Like it's not an easy thing. You do have to think it through, but it's exciting. It's fun. I love doing that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you're spot on with everything you said there. I totally agree. Um, I'm not gonna lie though. Like when I saw this,
Yeah.
it was maybe half a second. Only like half a second where I was like, "Oh, dude, you're screwed. Like you're on your own." Like, man, I'm turning around. Like, I can't help you. Like, I'm not the guy that's gonna do this. Like this is not happening. I'm not the guy. Like,
Right.
sorry, man, but I can't do this.
Well,
And
thankfully
then
that was fleeting. Very, very
Ver
fleeting.
it was like half a second, and then it was like, "No, like, I'm the only one that can do this. I gotta go save them. I've got the most power." I happen to be, luckily, the guy with the most powerful motor.
Yep.
Um, it just all worked out. It was all meant to be, I guess. I don't know, but, yeah, no, and I knew. I was like, "Man, if that was me standing on my boat, my motor's not running," and I'm like, "Dude, like, help
Help.
me."
Somebody
Yeah,
help.
is somebody, please somebody come help me because that's what I want. And so you just very quickly put yourself in their shoes and it's like, oh dude, they need me. I got to go over there. I got to get them.
Good
They
man.
Yeah.
The call of the
Yeah.
mariner right there. I mean, that's technically, as long as you're not putting yourself in danger, quote unquote,
Mhm.
it's like the rule of the ocean is you got to help out a mariner in distress. So
Yeah,
good on
yeah,
you, sir.
for
Very
sure.
good.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I hope Buddy and Ziggy appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure. I'm
Yeah, I know
sure,
they
man.
do.
All
Yeah,
right.
man,
And then,
it's crazy. Yeah.
well, I don't want to spoil obviously like the whole video because we'll put a link in the description for people so they can see everything that and it is, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I do understand, like, people are always like, dude, do you have like footage of all these storms? And I have some
Yeah.
footage, but it's typically before things get crazy and then after things stop being
Yep.
so crazy is when I'm like, okay, now I can go down and grab my camera and start capturing some of this. Like when you're in the really rough patches where the wind is howling and the waves are building up and it's dangerous, like that's the last thing on my mind is like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to
Mhm.
capture this. And I don't know, maybe I could be better at it just like constantly, but I don't strap a GoPro to my head and I don't, It's just
Mhm.
not something that's like right then and there. Like the video that I have where I get turned upside down in the middle of the night, it was just an odd coincidence that my GoPro was in my pocket. And
Mm.
so, just after a few minutes after being, turned, I essentially was like, I I got the boat sailing again, and I was like, oh, I can do little 30-second clips and show everybody and stuff. But normally, yeah, that stuff, that was just like a lucky coincidence.
Yeah, yeah. I keep thinking like, man, I think about the lightning strike because I've got a little spot in the back and the stern where I just stick the GoPro in. I can just hit record and it just stays there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
During the lightning strike, I was like, man, if
Oh, if
only I
you would
had
have
it
had that
going,
footage.
and then I was thinking about, whenever I threw Buddy the line and he caught it and all of this stuff. And like, man, if I just had it going, gosh, it'd
Well,
be YouTube
if you had
gold,
like
right?
a drone shot of it,
Oh
like if
yeah.
you could somehow do a rescue while flying a
Yeah.
drone.
Yeah, right.
But it is, I mean, it's interesting because you do such a great job with the videos and with the editing. I'm sure that all is constantly going through your head of like, I wish we could be
Mhm.
capturing this. But yeah, it is one of those things. You can't have
Mhm.
everything, but at least you have the
Yeah.
memory and the experience, especially for going, into the future. And on top of all that, the good karma of doing the rescue so that next time you're that guy, or if that happens, heaven forbid, um, somebody will be there and be able to throw you a line.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, you got to um I lost my train of thought. I was just going to say something about thinking about um being thinking ahead. So that's something that I've thought about. I do think about in those situations. I need to grab the GoPro. I need to have it out. But at the same time, I'm like, no, you need to be safe. Don't worry about that. Like this
Yeah, yeah.
is what's most important is taking care of yourself and being safe. And and then just trying to plan ahead, be 3 steps, 5 steps ahead of everything. And also I like the point that you made about kind of like staying calm, taking a few seconds to kind of take a time out to keep your, get your thoughts together and really think about what you're doing, like what hey, like what's going on here. I feel like that's something that I got from doing a lot of jujitsu. I used to do a bunch of jujitsu like 10 years ago,
Hmm.
and man, when you're sparring with somebody, we call it rolling. Like when you're rolling with somebody, like you're wrestling with somebody.
Yeah.
Um, like whenever we're rolling, a lot of times you'll be with guys that are like black belts, and they're just whooping your ass, and they're putting you in these like real tough, hard to get out positions. They're just making it really tough for you, and it's in those moments where you kind of have to just like you can't panic. You can't start squirming around and like trying to get out and panic. You have to stop, think about your training, think
Yeah,
about like
yeah.
there's technique to getting out of situations. And man, sailing is exactly the
Very
same
similar.
way,
Yeah.
very similar. I mean, you got to stop, you got to think about things. There's technique, there's a way that I run up to, on deck and go up and bring, my head sail down and then run back down. Like there's a method, there's a way I do it to do it quickly and safely and effectively. um, just to give an example, but there's just a lot of that. There's
Yeah, yeah.
you know
Well, and it is. I mean, you're spot on. You do not want to be being in panic mode, especially on a boat where it just doesn't allow you to be able to. I think what one of the real detriments with panic mode is that you kind of almost get tunnel vision in a way because you're
hmm
so hyper focused on whatever that's making you.
oh, I lost him again. He'll come back.
good way to go about it rather than I'm just going into berserker mode. I know you probably didn't hear any of that, did you?
I lost you, man. I lost you.
That's all
Such a
right. I
bummer.
kept talking, so hopefully it will have recorded all that. But hey, I have to wrap this up. We're actually at like an hour and a half almost, I think.
Yeah, man, this is turning into like a Joe Rogan episode.
I think the longest one I've ever had on the podcast is like 3.5 hours, something like
Oh,
that.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
Right
I got a
on.
cousin of mine that lives out in LA, and he had a pretty epic story about how he went from living in Indiana, growing up there, and making the move out to LA back in the 80s and stuff. So that
Okay.
one went pretty in depth. But no, I chatting with you, Brandon's always a blast, and I do appreciate you taking the time and stuff, and really do appreciate the efforts that it takes to make the videos, because you know these like 40-minute mini docs of these adventures take how many hours would it take you to edit that together?
Oh, man. I honestly don't know. I mean, I've gotten very proficient. Is that the right word? Proficient
Yeah.
at it. Yeah, I've gotten very proficient at editing. The way I do it, and I mean, man, I didn't even clean. I hadn't even. I just got done finally cleaning the boat from the trip. As soon as I
Oh,
got
really?
home, dude. As soon as I got home, I put the SD card in, and I was just going, just editing. Staying up late and
Yeah.
just not.
Grinding it out.
I was so excited to get it out. Just to share it. Share the experience. This one, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but man, this one was just something special about this one. I'll just say that. Comparing to the Texas 200, there was something very special about this one. Just doing it by myself and the whole rescue mission and the terrain, being around alligators and being in the largest river basin in the United States. It's just so
Oh, I
cool.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so cool. And it's just an awesome trip. And there's already talk of doing it again next year. So I'm
Oh, nice. Well,
definitely doing this one again.
maybe come up with a bit of a little mission statement checklist sort of thing as far as like turning radios on every day, that sort of stuff. We always want to be
Oh
improving,
man.
innovating uh
Gosh.
in the
Oh.
name of safety and everything. Because yeah, I mean, shoot, you never know. It could become, super popular, and all of a sudden all these people want to come down and do it, and you got 40 boats. And then somebody's like, well, who's in charge here?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? It's crazy. So
Yeah.
what's next on the calendar for you then? Because what's the sailing season like down there in the winter?
It's not too bad. I don't typically, because it's such a far drive for me. I'm in the Dallas area, so to get to the coast, I can get to Galveston in about 5 hours, I guess. But to
Oh,
get
okay.
to yeah, like in the Houston area, Galveston Island, um,
Yeah.
or to go to South Texas for the 200, that's like a good like 9 hour drive for me. So it's a lot of driving, but in the wintertime, I typically just kind of stay around here and
Do
sail
the
the
lakes.
lakes, the local
Yeah.
lakes. Yeah. I'll probably do a few mods on the boat here and there. I'll get better at sailing with a third sail in my
Yeah, dude.
cutter rig.
Cut a rig. And then get another spinnaker pole, and then you do your spinnaker as well.
Hmm.
And then it's like, dude, I don't know. You got to add like a
Oh man,
mizzen
that would be
mast,
wild. Wow.
make her a catch. You could have the mightiest little mariner out there, dude.
Oh man, so cool.
Ah, very cool, very cool. Well,
But yeah,
yeah,
and
I like.
it's oh, I'm sorry. As far as the YouTube goes, I've been working on a jet ski, a 1996 jet ski.
Oh,
That's
wow.
kind of like a family jet ski that I've been restoring. I finally got all the registration and paperwork taken care of, so Next video is probably going to be me getting that jet ski on the water
Oh,
for the
very
first
cool,
time.
man.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you kind of taking everybody along and sharing the experience and stuff. And like I said, I mean, with this one and with the Texas 200 video, I for sure, I mean, I don't know, it's enjoyable to sit and just watch the whole thing and just kind of be a little bit a part of the adventure. So I think you're definitely doing a great job with it, man. So appreciate it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. I try. That's what I try to do.
Good
And
man.
oh man, I gotta say something about your channel. So I went and checked out your channel, man, and I went back to the first videos, to the
Oh
first
God,
ones.
back when I was training. Yeah, yeah.
Dude,
There's a
I
ship
wanted
out there.
I hope she's French.
Ah,
Man,
man. I know.
I wanted to be out there with you so bad. I was like, this dude Jerome is the man. That is he. I bet he seems like such a fun guy. I wanted to be out there with you at that very moment. I was like, man, what a good time right there.
That was an
You look like you were just
interesting.
having a good time, man. Just
Oh,
a
I definitely
hell of a
was.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a 26-day out into the Atlantic and back from the Caribbean, and I essentially needed to test the boat, but also test my own mental ability to
Hmm.
be alone for that long because I had never been alone on a boat that long. And yeah,
That's
I had a
wild.
leak I had to fix. I had to swim in the water and put sawdust and stuff in it, and
Oh
I
wow.
had a lot of little misadventures on that trip. I flooded the engine with salt water from the
Oh
exhaust, had to repair that out at sea, all this sort of stuff.
wow.
But that's how we learn, man. That's how we get
Yeah.
in there and get that experience. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Man, I cannot. I do these little trips, close. I stay close to land, and then I just hear about you like doing your circumnavigations and things. I'm like, God, that's going out there, man. Like that's really putting yourself out there.
well, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the offshore world. And last winter I was able to kind of just get back into the swing of things as far as solo sailing went. But it was all these 10-day, 2-week long trips from Florida. I'd go just north or northeast for as long as I could. And then I'd cut south and then I'd cut through the Bahamas to get back. And just little training missions to get back under the keel or get back and to a comfort and confidence level that I was before. I mean, I used to be able to just dangle my feet over the edge, so to speak, and be totally happy. But after that disaster voyage in 2022, like I looked at the edge from afar and I was like, I don't want anything to do with that right now. And it just took some time and I sailed on other people's boats, but it was the solo
Hmm.
that was freaking me out. So it's good that it seems to have turned around, and I'm looking forward to. The plan is at this point, if I can get everything done, is get Sparrow back down to Fort Pierce for the winter, and then be able to, when I have a week or two in between gigs and stuff, to be able to just bounce and go due east, and then cut back in and just spend like a week at a time out at sea. So
Hmm.
maybe if you're ever over in Florida, dude, you come with me on one of them.
Dude, that would be awesome. I'll definitely take you up on that. Yeah, for
It's
sure.
winter
That
time
would
in
be
the
so
Atlantic,
cool.
though. So
That'd be so cool.
usually it ends up you get your butt kicked for at least 1 or 2 days, and then the weather's good after that. But
Okay. Okay.
that's good learning
Man.
experience.
Go aboard the Mighty Sparrow. Maybe I'll have to bring the GoPro too, do a little video out of it.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
Get
that'd
me
be
up on the
awesome.
bowsprit, man.
Yeah, man. That'd be awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, anything you want to plug? Obviously, I'll put a link in the description for the YouTube for that specific video and your YouTube channel. But yeah, floor is
um,
yours, sir.
Yeah, just Instagram. I have an Instagram, Restro Thunder Road. The YouTube, Restro Thunder Road. Check out all those videos. It's not just sailing. I do restorations, hence the name Restro Thunder Road. So
Gotcha.
I'll do like old dirt bikes and a jet ski, things like that. And also shout out to Ziggy Lavengood. Check out Ziggy Lavengood if you want to watch the Ashafalaya. Gosh, man. Ashafalaya 1. Go to Ziggy Lavengood's YouTube channel. Check him out. Give him a sub. Give him a like. It's mostly him and Buddy aboard Grobeck. It's a cool video. It's a really awesome video.
Nice.
And metal detecting with Ziggy. He also does like a metal detecting channel. So shout out to Ziggy.
I'm
check
definitely
him
gonna
out.
have to check that. I'm a bit of a metal detector guy. I love
Oh,
that
okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Hey man, I could connect y'all if you're ever interested to, talk to him sometime. So just let me know.
Yeah, I definitely.
Yeah.
If I like I said, man, that Texas 200's calling my name, so we might have to collaborate on that one at some point. But
Heck yeah, man. That would be so cool. So cool.
awesome, Brandon. Well, thank you so much again for coming on, and until next time.
Dude, thank you so much. And I had an awesome time. Take it easy, Jerome.
All right.